and welcome back to my scrap room. My name is Jennifer Perry, and today I thought I would take you through my favorite things scrapbooking edition. This is going to be in no particular order. These are just the things that I reach for every single time I sit down to scrapbook. The first thing is going to be right here. This is the newest addition to my scrap room. I've only had it about a month, and as you can tell, it's already well loved. I may have to go ahead and repurchase another one just to put away in the closet, because it seems that every time I find something that I love, it becomes discontinued. But what I love about this is it is white to make it easier to film on, so you don't get as much glare as you do with my glass mat. I love my glass mat, but it's just not practical for filming under the way that I film. It is heat resistant. Everything cleans up off of it. It has some staining here, but what I didn't realize is whenever I stitch, it was poking itty bitty holes in the fabric of the material, and then when I inked, that went down inside the fabric, so of course then it doesn't clean up. So you guys are going to just see that it's well loved whenever you watch the videos. But it also, I don't know if you can tell, it's also cling to my table. I have a stainless steel tabletop on this table, and there will also be stainless steel on the new one once we get it built. So it clings to the stainless steel, but yet it's not too thick that my magnets don't work, because I like to use magnets to hold things down whenever I'm thinking about something or trying to place something. So I like the fact that I can still use my magnets. The second thing that I always reach for when I'm scrapbooking, you guys have seen me do this a million times. These are just Avery labels. I think it's, yeah, I'll put the number down below. I can't remember at the moment. It's just the regular standard Avery address labels. But I make labels for each of my layouts. And the reason that I do this is I do not scrapbook in chronological order or in order at all. So I stick this in my little iris box, and whenever I'm scrapbooking, I put one on the back of each layout, so that when I'm putting things away, I just have to flip the layout over and say, oh, this goes in the 2018 album, this goes in the 2017 album, this goes in the 2014 album, this goes in the vacation album. It is very, very simple for me to put my layouts away when time, because a lot of times I set them aside to dry, or I've got a set of racks above my head that I set them up there just to get them out of the way for a little bit before I put everything away. So these are very, very important to me while I scrapbook. These next items go hand in hand. It is my cork board that I use as my Pokey pad, which if I used a standard Pokey pad, I probably wouldn't have had this happen. But I like the fact that this is 12 by 12, so it fits my full 12 by 12 page. This is my stitching box of all of my close to my heart colors. And then of course my favorite Pokey sticks. Now this one is my older one. You can see that it's starting to fall apart. This is the newer one. But it is my regular favorite Pokey stick. And I like it because A, it's comfortable to hold. It's not too thin, not too big, it's really comfortable to hold. But the tip also retracts so that I don't kill myself. The one thing you guys don't see when I'm filming is my little bucket of Band-Aids, because I'm constantly poking myself or nicking myself. I also have Neosporin that I use like hand lotion, but this stays on my desk. It's just out of camera range, because I'm always doing something to my fingers, and it never fails. If I'm scrapbooking, I normally draw blood at least once. But I've got my stitching, I've got my favorite Pokey pad, and my favorite Pokey sticks. This is one that you see me reach for over and over and over. This is my desk templates, but I don't know if I've ever explained my desk templates. So I will do that. This is the Simple Stories spot, or there's one more in here somewhere. There it is. So these are the ones that I got from Simple Stories, but I think we purchased them on Amazon. And then these are just vellum pieces that whenever I use my Close to My Heart how-to books, it tells you what size photo to use. So what I did for just a while I was using the books is I just kept a stack of vellum beside me, and I would trim down say it needed 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, I would just cut down a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 piece of vellum. 3 1/2 by 2 1/2, there's my vellum. Weird sizes, 1 1/2 by 3, got it. So basically this is all of the different photo cuts in all of the how-to books. It didn't take long at all. It was just as I was scrapbooking, I'd go, oh, okay, I need that one. And I actually have 2 of these. One stays on my desk, one stays in my travel bag. Like I said, didn't take long at all to make, and it's just vellum and Sharpie marker. I almost always will add some sort of sparkle. So these are the bitty sparkles from Close to My Heart. These are the ones that I reach for the most because they just add the touch of sparkle that you need. Not, hello, I'm blingy, but just a touch of sparkle. So these are the ones that I reach for the most. I typically will order 10 or 12 of these packs at a time because, again, I'm scared Close to My Heart's going to discontinue them, so I stock up like it's lifeblood. And then, of course, I have my craft knife, which I use to place my bitty sparkles or any kind of sparkle, really. It's not the safest way of doing it, but it works for me. I'm a little bit non-traditional in the Close to My Heart world with my adhesives. I have my standard Tombow, but I also use the 3M foam tape over the Close to My Heart foam tape because it's a little bit easier for me to get a hold of. I use so much of this stuff that I went ahead and put it on my subscribe and save in Amazon. The Close to My Heart foam tape is beautiful foam tape. I love to use it, but I would always forget to order it. And of course, if I don't have it on hand, I can't use it. So I just figured out that I can put this in my subscribe and save, and I always have some on hand. Now I do know that this stuff comes in rolls about this big. I understand that's the cheaper way of doing it, but this makes it more portable for me. I can throw some in my go bag, my crop bag, I can have it on my desk. Wherever I need it, I've got it without having a honk and roll. Because I do tend to travel with my scrapbooking. If I didn't travel, I would of course buy it in the larger roll. The other item that I have is my Be Creative tape or Scor-Tape or however you want to call this. This is the stuff that I get on Amazon. I have it in various widths, right up to 6 inches. I also have a 6-inch roll too. This is, I think, 2 inches, a 1/4, an 1/8, and these are 4ths, I think, or a 1/2 and 1/4, something like that. But I have them in various widths that I use them in. I use these every time I either make cards or scrapbooking. And again, I have these on my Amazon subscribe and save also, so I just get one of whatever size once a month, depending on what month I have that particular size coming in. And as you can see, I have a good little selection of it, and I don't have to worry about running out because it is on my subscribe and save. Next is a new to me tool that I've only been using for about a year, and I don't know why it took me so long to purchase one of these. It is a stapler, or in the Tim Holtz world, a tiny attacher. It is just like the Tim Holtz one, except this one is kind of hefty. I like the fact that it's kind of hefty. And it does use these staples by Close to My Heart. So what I have done is, for a while, I just would stick 3 or 4 of these in my bin, in my shopping cart, and order 3 or 4 at a time. And this is my open one. And now, as you can see, I have a ton. Because again, now that I've got it, Close to My Heart is probably going to discontinue it because that's the way it works. So I stocked up on all of my staples. And by the time I'm finished with this box of staples, I'll probably be sick of stapling, but for right now, this works great for attaching my vellum because I do vellum journaling for my daughter, and this is, for me, the best way I have figured out to attach the vellum. Now when I'm scrapbooking, I love to use thickers on my titles, or I hand stitch my titles. So I pick up my thickers when they're on sale. Tuesday morning is my favorite spot to pick up thickers. Why pay full price when you can get them half off? So I have a bin full of thickers, and I just go through that bin. I pretty much stick to just the neutral colors. The silvers, the golds, the white, the black. I have some wood shapes. I don't really go into the different colored ones, the pinks, the blues, the reds. I try to keep it more neutral because then that goes with pretty much any layout. And as you can see with this one, it's called Sicily. I need to buy some more of this one because it's been one of my favorite fonts. One of the things that you really don't see on camera, because I normally have it just out of range, is some sort of little bowl, or this is actually for appetizers. I picked it up on Amazon. There were 3 of them for like $6 or something. But I use it to put little embellishments or sequences or something that goes with the workshop in these little bowls so they don't roll off my desk, blow off my desk, my cat doesn't take off with it. And it just kind of helps keep me organized while I'm scrapbooking. And I normally just have it right off camera range just like this so that I can reach in and grab whatever I need. So some sort of little bowl or one of these, or even a mason jars. I've had mason jars on my desk for several years just so that I can help corral everything that I'm using. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see these, but these are, it is just laminating sheets that I cut off the bottom of my, let's do it this way so you might be able to see them there. Okay, that I cut off the bottom of my tags that I just made. Close to my heart, did a color change. I needed to make new tags for my cardstock. So I made circle tags, took them over to FedEx or Kinko's, whatever you want to call it now, and they have some super thick laminating pouches. I mean, these suckers are very thick. So these are pieces that I cut off the bottoms, and what I use them for is either testing the sticker in a certain spot, or like this big long one, I may lay out a title on the edges and just kind of sit it down and see how it looks. Or if I have to use some spray sparkle or shimmer mist or distress inks, I can lay it over a photo, something like that that just helps protect my scrapbook. And these are just scraps from the end of the lamination. Not going to go too hard into this. This is my small trimmer that I use when I travel, but I have the larger version also. This one just fits in camera range better. Some sort of trimmer. The Fiskars Sure Cut is the one that I like because of the wire. But trimmers are really, you know, they're subjective to what you prefer. I just found that this one, particular brand and particular wire cut, fits me perfectly. When they first came out with the wire, it used to fray and or break. If it does, or if you have one of these in your stash and the wire did break, contact Fiskars, let them know that the wire broke, and they will send you this arm to replace the wire. And it is a lifetime warranty. So if you ever have trouble with this wire, just contact Fiskars. I sent them an email. I sent them an email of the broken wire. And I think I always put, oops, my blade just fell out. Yeah, I always put the date that I bought the trimmer on the back. And that was my consultant number with Close to My Heart because I would travel. But I always put my date that I purchased it on the back, so I always have my purchase date and a picture of it and my address and phone number and whatnot. I just emailed it directly to Fiskars, and lo and behold, about a week later, I had a new arm. Now, I will say the arm was a little bit of a pain in the butt to put on, but once you figure it out, you've got it. And I've only had to do this twice, and it was with the, like I said, I bought this trimmer in 2016, so it's when they first started coming out with the wire trimmer cutters, and I think they have since fixed the wire. This here, let's see if I can get it in, take the lid off so it doesn't blind you to death. This is a new-ish idea to me. I have a scraps bin that I use for my cardstock, and it is in a little crate. It's on wheels, and it has a file folder divider or hanging file folder for each color. So my cranberry color is all in one spot, my Pacifica color is all in one spot, and if I need a piece of cardstock, I check there first. But I didn't really have an option for my pattern paper. So what I did is, this is just a man's shoebox from the Container Store, made to hold men's shoes, so it's a little bit bigger than a lady's shoe box. And it will hold 12 by 12. So I liked that, but I just throw my usable pieces of B&T cardstock in here or pattern paper in here. And when I'm working on a layout, I will flip through here first to see if there's any background texture paper or pattern paper, whatever you want to call it, in this bin first that will work with my layout. Or I go to this bin when I'm making embellishments. And this is where I get a lot of my paper from for my embellishments. So this isn't new to me. I keep it with a lid on it so my kitten will stay out of it because he has a fascination with laying on paper. So I put the lid on it and it just lives in the floor next to my rolling file crate that has my full sheets of B&T paper or pattern paper in it. And it just lives under my desk. And the very last thing you guys have seen me do and seen me use several times, and I'll actually put these back in there. This is just a 12 by 12 iris case. And inside it, this is everything that I need to scrapbook a given year. It has my labels. It has any memorabilia that I would like to try and incorporate. This is some more memorabilia. And it also has all of my photographs separated by how I want to scrapbook them, along with their vellum journaling. Like, remember I said that I use vellum journaling? So along with that. And what I do is whenever I get my photos printed, I just sit down one evening and I separate all my photos into their piles and I just sit at my computer and type out all of the journaling at one time. Let it, print it out on the vellum, let the vellum dry for just a few minutes and cut it out. So I have all of my journaling for each of my stacks. And when I need to go to a crop, this comes with me quite easily, and it has everything that I need in the bin and is protected. And then on the way home, I take the finished layouts and put them right on top, because as you're using the photographs, the stack gets smaller and smaller, so you're able to fit your finished layouts back in this bin, close the lid, and they don't get squished. So I just have dates on the ends. I put this note in here whenever I finish putting it together so I know what I've done, and it is ready to go. Thank you for joining me today as I went through all of my favorite items that I use to scrapbook with every single time. I know that you have many things that you could be doing, and I am very, very thankful that you choose to spend just a few minutes of your day with me. Until next time, bye-bye.